Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Your Mark on the World show. We're excited to have with us today Kohl Crecelius, who is the founder of KK International, which is Crochet Kids International. And we're excited to have you, Kohl. Thank you very much for joining us.
So glad to be here, Devin. Thanks so much for having me. Looking forward to our conversation today.
When I first heard about what you were doing, I had to kind of do a double take, but you really got started in this world of making a difference with crocheting, which is, let me just say, unusual, and new approach. So tell us your story. How did this come about?
Yeah, gladly. So, our story kind of comes in two parts, the first of which you mentioned, and that's that when I was in high school, I learned how to crochet, of all things, from my older brother. People often have a conception that I learned from my mom or grandma. Knows my older brother, who I basically thought anything he did was cool, so crocheting fell into that category as well, as you might imagine. Being big skiers and snowboarders, we started not only making our own hats, but we started making hats for friends, and we had a custom beanie making company in the Northwest called Krochet Kids. It was there that we learned our skills of entrepreneurship, of creating a brand, of designing products, and those types of things that we would later use. It wasn't until we went to college, however, that we had opportunities to travel the world, to begin to understand and get a little better insight into the global landscape of poverty. And the question was always running through our minds, and we were asking ourselves, what, if anything, could we do to help? What could we offer to the world and to those in need? And it wasn't until a good friend of mine and one of our fellow co-founders went to Uganda until we really put all the pieces together. And that was when he was there. He was asking people what they wanted for themselves, how we could be of service or help them. And they said they wanted jobs, Devin. They wanted opportunities to take care of themselves and their families in a war-torn region where there were hundreds of aid organizations that were there to try and help in some way. They said, we don't want any more handouts. We don't want any more of the things that people are giving to us. We want to be the ones to take steps forward on our own. And so that's where this crazy idea of crocheting and those earlier days of us designing and making headwear came to actually be of help, of service to the people of northern Uganda. And it was still while we were in college, we went back and we trained 10 ladies how to crochet, and thus kicks off this brand that's today known as Crochet Kids International.
Tell us a little bit about what the products are now that you have on offer.
Absolutely. So we started with headwear, but over the last 7 years, we've really branched to incorporate a range of products. We call ourselves a lifestyle apparel company now. So we not only work in Uganda with 150 women there, but we work with over 40 women in Peru as well, where we have not only a knitting operation, but a cut and sew facility as well. So we offer everything from headwear to scarves and other fashion accessories, but we also have a line of men's and women's apparel as well as bags, both for travel and for fashion purposes, if you will. So we really have a wide gamut of products that we offer today.
That's awesome. So how did you connect with the folks in Peru? You told us a little bit about the Uganda story. How did you get the connection with Peru?
Great question, Devin. So as we grew our operation and our programs in Peru, or in Uganda, excuse me, we saw that there was a great need, both from the consumer side, retailers we were beginning to work with, a need and a demand for more types of products and more different products. And so with that, we started looking at different countries around the world where we could both have great impact as well as create really great product. And Peru, with a beautiful heritage of production of materials, the alpaca, and the types of things that you can have at your disposal in a country like Peru, are really incredible, and the products as a result could be really great as well. So we leaned into that idea, and we worked with a few local organizations that had been connected for us to go and do an initial 3-month scouting mission to understand how our program could really have the most impact on the ground there. And then it was about 3.5 years ago now that we sent our first team member down to Peru to live there full-time and to set up our operation down in the country there. So, so we've been operating there for almost 4 years now.
That's great. Tell us a little bit about why this is important to you.
That's a phenomenal question, and there's so many reasons why it matters to me specifically. And I think one of the main things is that from our experiences early on, as we had traveled and in different capacities volunteered our time with organizations abroad, we were always asking that question: how could this be done, and maybe how could this be done differently? Both from an international development standpoint as well as a nonprofit and sustainability standpoint. And from that international development angle, we saw so many organizations and NGOs who were coming into these communities and who were coming and doing a month-long training program and saying that they had done their impact for the day or for the month and they had moved on. And these communities and these individuals are really were not left any better off than they were in the beginning. And so it was really important for us to rethink how we could really be equipping individuals with the tools that they would need to lead self-sustaining lives, independent from aid organizations, even independent from us. And that was something that we were just deeply convicted with, and we wanted to pioneer or do our best to lead a model forward that would be different, that would be equipping people and not just sustaining people in their poverty. And the other thing is, as I mentioned, that nonprofit angle. We wanted to do things a little bit differently in how we funded the work that we were doing. We didn't want to be solely sustained through donations. We started this whole organization in the midst of one of the worst recessions of our lifetime, and we saw that if we were solely dependent upon people's donations, that there was great challenges in that. And so we wanted to rethink and also create a new model for how nonprofits could rethink their strategies and reimagine their long-term sustainability goals. And today, Crochet Kids International is proud to operate in a way that we are maintaining over 85% of all of our revenue year over year through our product sales. And that means that our donors really only make up about 15% of our operating revenue, and those growth goals that we have for our future, they also play a part in. But those two paradigms, I think, are really in need of being shifted, and we want to offer our voice, our ideas to the conversation to help make positive steps going forward.
I wonder if you would tell us just a little bit about the women who are working for you. I guess there may be some men as well, but tell us about the people who are working for you in Uganda and Peru, about their work circumstances, about their lives before they worked for you, how they're really being impacted by this opportunity to produce these products for you.
Absolutely. So a common misconception with our work, and maybe one differentiation point from other groups who do work like us, is that we don't work with artisans. We don't go into communities and look for existing artisans and solely work to find markets for artisan products. On the contrary, we actually go into communities, and with the help of our local staff, we identify the women that are most vulnerable in those communities, those that are in the greatest amount of need. And in many cases, that means that they don't have prior education, that they don't have any consistent income through work whatsoever. And in in many cases, they oftentimes have lots of dependents, 5, sometimes 6 people who are dependent upon them for their livelihoods. And so those are the people that we've targeted and focused in on when it comes to our impact, because that's where we've seen where we could have the greatest amount of impact, and not only for an individual, but for their family, and as well for their community as they go and grow through our program. A couple of immediate ways that they're impacted through the work that we do is first and foremost through a consistent income, through a job, through the production of all of our items. The women that that participate in our programs are earning a consistent income and are beginning to not only be able to take care of all their immediate needs, but they're beginning to save for their future as well. The second thing is that we walk them through a 3-year education curriculum, which not only involves the economic portions of helping them budget and save and plan for their future financially and monetarily, but we also walk them through the other areas of their life that are very important in understanding as a context of their personhood, their health, their family planning, their business development and future plans for careers and things that they would want to step into. We work with local partners to come in and do those sorts of trainings. And then lastly, we have a one-on-one mentorship program. So local mentors who are on staff with KK International are working on a one-on-one basis to help contextualize the new gains monetarily, financially, and education to help craft a plan for them in their future. Much like a guidance counselor in school, they help to kind of craft all the pieces together and address any of those social and psychological challenges to really help women take steps forward into understanding what they would want to pursue with their future.
So one of the particular questions I find myself wondering is, are they producing this product in their homes now, or are they going to a workplace that you're providing for the work?
Yeah, so we have our own facilities in both Uganda and Peru where we invite and have all the women come and do all the production, all of their work right there in the community. And that happens for a couple reasons, Devin, and the first of which is that since we do offer all of those other kind of extracurricular activities or things, educational courses and mentorship, that it's really important that the women are there on our premises to not only do the production, but to be able to step away and do different trainings and meet with their mentor to talk about different things. But then even more so, I think one of the most beautiful things about our program and about bringing these ladies together is that there is so much growth and so much transformation that takes place when there are peers interacting and encouraging and uplifting one another and rooting them on to take those steps and even setting examples for one another of what it looks like to save your money well and what that can help you accomplish with your family. And so much of that peer interaction is necessary to building this overall idea of empowerment.
Yeah, that's really a wonderful insight. Well, Kohl, I really appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. Before we wrap up, please tell people where they can find the products, how they can find you online, how they can engage, support, and work with you to help you be more successful.
Absolutely. I would encourage people to first and foremost check out our website. It is crochetkids.org, and that's KROCHETKIDS.org. And there you'll get to learn a lot more about our development model, about why we've decided and chosen to be a nonprofit in the work that we do, as well as have the opportunity to shop all of the products that we make, both in Uganda and Peru. And one of the most special things, Devin, is that every product we make is hand-signed by the lady that made it. And that being so, we have the profiles of every single one of our women who's a part of our program on our website as well. So if you buy a product, you can go and learn a little bit more about her story specifically.
That's awesome. What a great program. Well, Cole, thank you again for being with us today, and thank you even more for the great work you're doing. I hope you'll see a big tick up in sales as a result of your visit with us today.
Thank you, Devin. Likewise, thanks for all that you do as well, and thanks for taking the opportunity to chat with me today.
It's entirely our pleasure. Thanks again.
Okay, take care.
Let's do some good.